Miyamoto Musashi was Japan's most feared and undefeated swordsman, a man who claimed victory in over 60 duels. So why on earth would he agree to a life-or-death battle against a 12-year-old boy? This is the story of how a prestigious clan's honor fell onto the shoulders of a child, forcing a showdown that would forever define Musashi's brutal and strategic mind. This isn't a story about chivalry. It's a story about power and the terrifying lengths one man would go to hold on to it. Before he was a legend, Musashi was an outcast. His path with the sword didn't begin in some pristine dojo with a watchful master. It began in blood. In his own writings, Musashi tells us his first duel was at age 13. A traveling samurai named Arima Kihei posted a public challenge, and the young Musashi, barely a teenager, scrawled his name on it. When Kihei dismissed him as just a boy, Musashi didn't bow or apologize. He charged, threw the warrior to the ground, and beat him to death with a wooden staff. This shocking act of violence set the tone for his entire life. It wasn't about proper form or etiquette. It was about winning, no matter what. This victory marked him. By 16, he had already bested another skilled warrior, Tadashima Akiyama, and left home to become a ronin, a masterless samurai, wandering the country to perfect his skills in real combat. His education was a relentless string of life-or-death fights. He survived the disastrous Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, fighting for the losing army. But this failure didn't break him. It forged him. As a survivor on the run, he learned about resilience and the harsh reality of power. He spent years honing his skills in isolation before reappearing around 1604, his sights set on Kyoto. His target, the most prestigious sword school in all of Japan. In Kyoto, the name Yoshioka was a synonym for excellence. The Yoshioka Ryer was the official sword-fighting school for the Ashoka shogunate, a dynasty of military rulers. They were the establishment, the keepers of martial honor. And Musashi, the wild, self-taught ronin, showed up to tear it all down. He formally challenged the head of the school, Yoshioka Seiyuro. On the day of the duel, Seiyuro and his students waited, ready to teach this upstart a lesson. But Musashi never showed. Hours crawled by. Seijuro's confidence frayed, turning into frustrated rage. Finally, Musashi arrived, calm, late, and unkempt. The psychological battle was already won. In the fight that followed, Musashi didn't even use a real sword. Armed with just a bakken, a wooden practice sword, he landed a single crippling blow that shattered Seijuro's arm and his spirit. The master of the Yoshioka was humiliated, forced to shave his head and become a monk. The clan's honor now fell to Seijuro's brother, Denshichiro. He immediately challenged Musashi to a duel to the death to avenge his family. Once again, Musashi agreed. And once again, he arrived deliberately late. Boiling with rage, Denshichiro's technique was sloppy. Musashi, again with his wooden sword, killed him instantly with a crushing blow to the head. 2 duels. 2 masters defeated. The greatest sword school in the capital was in ruins, its reputation destroyed by one man and a piece of wood. The Yoshioka clan was shamed, desperate, and just about out of options. With both masters gone, the leadership of the once mighty Yoshioka clan fell to the next in line. A boy named Matashichiro, Seijuro's son. He was only 12 years old. To salvage what little honor their family had left, a final challenge was issued to Musashi in the boy's name. And this is where the story gets truly bizarre. Why would Musashi, the man who had just dismantled the top 2 swordsmen of the Yoshioka, even consider a duel against a child? For someone so obsessed with his reputation, there was no honor to be won. The public would see him as a monster for fighting a boy, win or lose. But refusing the duel would be seen as an act of fear, handing the Yoshioka the symbolic victory they craved. Musashi was trapped. But Musashi was also a master strategist, and he knew his opponents were far more desperate than he was. He understood this duel wasn't what it seemed. The challenge was a lie. The Yoshioka clan, having lost all face, had thrown honor out the window. The duel, set to take place at night under a pine tree at Ichijoji, was a trap. They had no intention of a one-on-one fight. Matashichiro was the bait. Hidden in the darkness, an army of Yoshioka retainers, some say 60, others say hundreds, lay in wait. They were armed not just with swords, but with bows and, according to some accounts, even early firearms. Their plan wasn't to duel Musashi. It was to ambush and execute him, washing away their shame with his blood. Musashi's genius wasn't just in his swordplay, but in his ability to read the human heart, its pride, its fear, its desperation. He smelled treachery. For his last two duels, his strategy was to arrive late and infuriate his opponents. This time, he did the exact opposite. He arrived hours early. Under the cover of darkness, Musashi crept to the dueling ground and hid. From the shadows, he watched the entire trap being set. He saw the archers take their positions. He saw the swordsmen gathering. He saw their numbers, their weapons, and their nerves. By the time the duel was supposed to start, he knew everything, and they had no idea where he was. When 12-year-old Matashichiro arrived with his entourage, the figurehead for the ambush, Musashi made his move. He didn't wait for introductions. He exploded from his hiding place. He ignored the retainers and charged directly for the head of the snake. In one swift, merciless motion, Musashi cut the young boy down. Chaos erupted. The ambushers, their plans shattered and their leader slain before their eyes, scrambled to face the demon who had just appeared from the darkness. Musashi was completely surrounded, outnumbered at least 60 to 1. It was a hopeless situation, and it was in this moment that Musashi's legend was truly forged. Facing impossible odds, he did something revolutionary. He drew both of his swords, the long katana and the short wakizashi. This was the birth of his signature two-sword style, Niten Ichi-ryu, the strategy of two heavens as one. Born in the chaos of an ambush, this wasn't a style for dueling. It was a style for war. He didn't stand and fight. He became a storm of steel, carving a bloody path through the panicking mob. He used the second sword to parry and block, creating openings for the first sword to strike. He broke their formation, created chaos, and escaped into the nearby rice paddies, leaving a field of bodies and the permanent end of the Yoshioka school in his wake. So, why did a legend fight a 12-year-old? The brutal truth is, he didn't. He fought an army. The duel was a fiction, a cover for an assassination. The child, Matashichiro, was not a duelist. He was a symbol, a piece of bait in a trap. Musashi's choice was never between fighting a boy or walking away with his honor intact. It was between survival and annihilation. He saw the encounter for what it was, a battle where honor was a liability and ruthless pragmatism was the only way to win. By showing up early, he seized control. By striking the leader first, he decapitated the entire operation. He didn't kill a child for glory. He eliminated the commander of an enemy force to guarantee his own survival. This act, while horrifying, was a masterstroke of strategy. He refused to play by his enemy's rules and instead forced them into a fight they were psychologically unprepared for. Conclusion: the legacy of pragmatism, the slaughter at Ichijoji, cemented Musashi's reputation. He was no longer just a skilled swordsman. He was seen as a demon, a force of nature who played by a different set of rules. He had single-handedly brought one of the country's most powerful martial institutions to its knees. This event, more than any other, reveals the core of his philosophy, which he'd later write down in the Book of Five Rings. Musashi believed the only goal of strategy was to win. He turned every disadvantage, from being on the losing side of a war to walking into a deadly ambush, into an opportunity to innovate and conquer. The duel with the Yoshioka wasn't a stain on his honor. It was the ultimate expression of his brutal, brilliant mind. It proved that Miyamoto Musashi wasn't just the greatest swordsman in Japan, but one of its most terrifying strategists. He didn't just play the game better than anyone else. He rewrote the rules entirely. If you found this look into the brutal strategy of Miyamoto Musashi compelling, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more stories about legendary warriors. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you want to see us cover next.